Like, why is this? Why is
I'm
this?
looking at photos also while I'm
Why
doing
why is
this.
this? Why is this island different?
I'm looking at puppies while you're talking.
It's just like it is notably different, but why? Was this how Rye used to be before its current state, or is there something happening to transform Rye to this form?
This is my work. This is where it's all beginning. This was not Rye.
You create this land.
Correct.
And who is intended to live here?
My creations. As you guys get closer, you'll actually start seeing a human-like life forms living in the center of the mountain ridges, or what do they call that?
Like a crater.
Yeah, ish.
Ow.
How closely to humans, or are they just humanoid, or
They're very close. They are. I'm strictly saying the human race is strictly to the plane of Ardent.
hmm
So these guys look exactly like you, but I'm hesitant to call them humans. If that makes sense.
there's probably something different, but it's not like discernible.
It's it's maybe genetically different, but not visually different.
Yeah.
There's a word for that. Damn it. I can't think of it. Their phenotype is alike, but their genotypes are different. Got it.
This so
Biology.
these organic forms here.
Correct.
The
Genus?
they what is it about them that makes them more perfect than those that exist in the other plane?
Because I have been working on them for 500 years.
But what are the objective attributes of them that that makes them more perfect than those that exist in the other plane?
Everything I've listed before. They are impervious to disease. Their life expectancy has grown tremendously. Their want for war is almost non-existent.
The the latter of those three appears that it could be a result of how they're situated in their environment. How can you be sure that with enough of them in a large enough scale, they will be
Hence
able to
the
maintain?
experiment. This is just the beginning. The ship lands at this little cove right here, where the mountains part, and what's it called? A boarding plank drops down, and he walks towards it and goes, "Go see for yourself." And stands there at the plank.
Envoy pauses and then decides to begin moving towards the plank itself.
Okay. Who leaves the ship?
Might as well.
Well, as well.
hmm
Okay. I'm assuming everybody leaves.
What am I gonna do? Not and get murdered?
You guys leave the ship. Mild temperatures, probably about back down to about comfortable levels for you guys, 70 to 75-ish degrees. Slight humidity. Storm clouds on the horizon. You guys see trails and a trail leading up to a stone road ahead of you in a very, very thick forest. Assuming you guys go down this trail onto the stone road, after a few minutes of travel, you guys pretty much come to let's say a wall of people standing in a line, with one of them out in front, riding, it looks like to be a horse with kind of like a metal armor on it, completely hiding its body except for the hooves and the eyes. And it's a female with seems to be leather clothing, and she has very long bangs on one side of her face. She seems to be very pale with white hair, and everybody behind her are holding seems to be like fishing spears or nets or sickles, farming equipment. I'll drop her on the map.
Question mark.
Her name is Aiden. She starts the horse slowly begins to start walking towards you. And stops a few feet in front of you and says, "Who brings you here?"
Tavish.
We were brought here by the one named Tevish to see this area with our own senses.
We don't get many visitors here.
Would imagine not.
How can we be of assistance to you? Assuming you're not here too.
No.
She never finishes that sentence.
Yeah.
Envoy will press the question to what?
Really, Envoy, you need it spelled out for you? No, we're not here to murder you.
Well, unless his insight is enough to pick up what the end of her sentence is.
You would assume that.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
You can safely
There's-
assume that's where she was going.
it's like,
Yeah.
well, okay, in that case. Hey, I have the 32 insight in the party, so like, Envoy will respond by stating, "We have no interest in creating unnecessary conflict while we're here. Our visit is primarily of curiosity and understanding."
Well,
You shall receive no conflict here as long as you do not bring one to us.
Then it is decided. This shall be a peaceful endeavor indeed.
You may come into our village. Your stay may only be brief, though.
Understood.
this isn't awkward at all, guys, is it?
Envoy just sort of walks ahead.
Of course it's awkward. It's
The,
always going to be awkward.
The villager seems to part as you guys walk through. A lot of them just you get a fuck ton of stairs.
Yeah, I could imagine so.
Very
usual.
Malik, they you're actually not feeling threatened by these people at all. Which should strike you as odd. Because of the imprinting that you know of this plane and shit like that. That only thing that is known here is war, and you're not feeling that threat of being killed because of your race here.
Don't feel comfortable here, though.
Varric looks over. Welcome to my everyday.
This
Shut up, Varric.
No.
as there and as another reiteration, Envoy's little pseudo light show thing is still just happening as he moves along.
Is there something you would like to see? Questions needed to be asked?
Anything you wish to show?
I can show you everything.
How many live in this settlement?
Our current numbers are about roughly 155.
Do you have glass blowing centers?
Ugh.
We do.
Can I go blow
Alan.
some glass?
No.
Art and cultures are as much encouraged here.
Wait,
Was that
what was
a
it? What was
yes?
it? What was it? Light?
Art,
Art
and culture.
is
Art and
encouraged
culture.
here.
Oh,
I heard ardent too. Don't worry.
Yeah, I did as well.
Would it be possible
go?
for this? Would it be possible for this unit to see examples of the art and culture of the settlement?
She looks at Hallam and says, Ataman will show you to our glass area, and hands you off to a tall man, roughly about 7 feet, thin build, with a mohawk, a blonde, almost bleach blonde mohawk.
Should I go with him?
I'm noticing a lot of blonde here.
It just seems a genetic disposition to our race.
There's so many terrible jokes in my head right now.
I know.
No,
Don't
we are
worry.
not stupid.
The
No, it had nothing to do with that. It was much more horrible.
I know. Don't
what-
worry.
I know we all have the same thought right now.
Yeah.
Envoy
The
has
next
the
question
same,
is, do they all have blue eyes as well?
Envoy has the same thought as the rest of you.
Actually, their eyes are gray, by the way.
What
Good.
tends to be the subject matter of the works of art that your settlement here create?
Every form. Music to painting to sculpture, architecture.
Those are the mediums, but not the subject matter.
Everything around us. Us ourselves. The trees, the ocean, the things that give us life. And when she says the things that give us life, she kind of motions towards the ground.
I think. I'm waiting for if anyone else wants to pose a question before.
Nope, looks like you're going to be the only one doing questions.
Yeah, Varric's just kind of agitated at this whole thing, especially being told that he's like damn near genetically inferior. Pretty fantastic. Not happy all around.
He never said you were inferior, he just said he didn't create you.
I got tone that he's like, pretty much like, you're a bastard.
Well, that's
So-
well. I
To
mean,
be fair,
that,
that's
that jerk art
all of
created
us.
you.
to be fair, I mean, though didn't even that one dragon call you a bastard as well? So
Yes,
The
but that's
Bloodborne.
different.
No
Yeah,
one
so-
likes Varric apparently.
So Envoy will then query. Would it be possible to see any advisors or leaders of this settlement?
You are speaking with her.
How long have you been leader of the settlement?
Since the birth of our creation.
How long is that?
I am 205 years old.
Jesus.
She doesn't look like she's above the age of 23.
Right.
Yeah, this is a utopia. Who would have guessed?
How
the
much
people here
are you
die?
aware of the outside world?
We know of what we've been told. That the outside is a barren wasteland full of war and death and famine. Here, we are safe to live our lives as we choose. We have no outside interference with our lives. Not even our God interferes with us.
Must be nice.
Malik, look. Where is Tevesh actually right now?
He's nowhere with you guys.
He stayed
Yeah.
on the ship. He
That's
pretty
right.
much showed us out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Malik just sort of stares back at the ship then and.
There doesn't seem to be any immediate threat to this location, so I assume that the items that you possess that appear to be weapons are specialized for hunting.
Correct. We do not wish war, but we will defend ourselves.
Has that ever been the case that you've had to defend yourselves?
Negative.
Has your culture never known death?
We know death. Just death doesn't come often.
This unit would presume that the deaths that occur are not because of age, but because of accident or other unintended consequence.
Correct. We do not know sickness or illness. We do not die of old age. At least not one of us has yet.
So you all believe that you would probably continue on in this state for eternity?
It is possible. We have yet to find out our life expectancy.
Has your race ever experienced jealousy or hate?
Since our race only deals with our own, I cannot quite fully answer that question. Amongst
There-
ourselves, no.
Given their isolation and relatively small numbers, it is highly likely that they're able to maintain a stable relationship within their own structure.
Even though within their own cultures that can still happen, but you're also asking, God, I can't believe I'm going in this intangible. You're talking about intangible topics with somebody. If someone doesn't know hatred, they won't know hatred.
Questions regarding hatred, death, and even the inevitability of certain things are topics that are outside of the realm of knowledge of these folks, of these people.
I'm going
It'd
to
be like asking Envoy if he knows what jealousy actually is, other than the words.
Other than a
that it
definition.
means.
Yeah.
Yes.
Basically, the questions you're asking these would be very similar to if you asked them to Envoy.
Yeah.
So this,
I asked it, probably
What-
knowing the answer.
What were you
Yeah.
saying, Chris?
I was going to say, Olivia's going to nudge Hallam on the shoulder and then whisper into his ear, these people are more robotic than Envoy.
Hallam left. Remember, he's glass blowing.
Oh, that's right. I'm doing it to Malik. I'm doing it to somebody.
Envoy will
Not Envoy, though.
That's-
Because that'd be weird.
Okay,
That's
Envoy-
actually, hold
Do it
on.
to me, and I would just nod.
When you do that, she actually says that's actually quite rude.
Envoy will posit another question with regards to their art. The subject matters of your art seem to be primarily focused on that of the natural realm around you. You
You are asking if we are creative.
not necessarily creative. There is always creativity that can be found even in expressing depictions of mundane items. The question this unit proposes is:
Thank you.
are there
Sorry. I got handed a chocolate bar.
Jealous.
are there certain topics of thought that have been explored with regards to emotion, causality, existence, and chocolate?
And
Issues that
I like how Randy turned into a child all of a sudden.
the
I got chocolate.
To be fair, if you're just
This
sitting
is-
there and you're handed a chocolate bar, you do the same exact fucking thing.
this unit would find it understandable if these are topics that have not yet been explored, given the relatively young age of this culture here.
Well, between our cultures and those questions will be quite different. We know our creator. We know why we are here. You cannot
Why-
say that about yours.
Why do you believe that you're here, or what do you presume is the reason why you're here, as told?
We are a part of a larger plan to ensure the viability of other races.
So you are.
We are
so
but a stepping stone.
you are. I was going to say you. As you was going to say, you are aware then that you are essentially, to some degree, a means to an end.
And we are proud to play that role. If more people become like us, where suffering does not happen, that is something we are glad to be a part of.
And yet you create that there's suffering created for this cause.
Do you not believe in the means of the many outweigh the needs of the few?
It would seem to be the few in this situation.
We are, but in time we will be the many.
Then I don't believe your point actually stands.
The
You are the people of the few and many.
envoy then poses another question. How many from this culture have not been directly created by the hand of your creator?
153.
So this entire culture began as a pair.
Correct.
This then means that there is, in actuality, a bottleneck of sorts with regards to variance.
We must keep the genetic line strong.
While that may be true, while it may be true that a single strong genetic line may be powerful, if there's only a single genetic line, then a single weakness unknown at the time can dismantle the entire genetic line. Diversity, while it creates more flaws inherent in individuals, creates its own correctional system where threats only impact a few, leaving others to be safe by means of variation.
You seem to be taking your knowledge from text, stuff given to you. We are getting our knowledge from the mouth of God himself. The genetic line will stay strong. It shall only improve with years.
This is not a representation of text, but a representation of probabilities over time, calculations, accounting for
I shall
things
take
that are
the word
unknown.
of God over mathematical equations. Math doesn't create life. God does. I believe you should be able to agree with that.
This unit, unfortunately, cannot agree with that, if only because it is unaware of certain aspects regarding the origin of creation of life outside of what has been told by means of text and others. It has only recently become aware of its own existence and its ability to reason.
1 plus 1 does not equal fish.
And otherwise, however, the purpose of variability and diversity, while it has flaws, does have strengths that a single strong line may not
Maybe in your
possess.
culture and life, that is true. But remember, this isn't your home.
This
What
unit
may
has
work for you there may not work for you here.
perhaps this unit has no home, however, to speak to itself. It is an outlier, both in this realm and in the realm that it came from.
Yes, you do look like one of them, but you are not. You look like one of the protectors, but you are not one of them.
Indeed, it has been told by those related to your god that it is not among them.
She points up to the mountain. She spins on the horse and pointing up towards the mountain edge and says, "If you're looking for one of them, they will be up there. They are on constant watch. They react to. They do not even react to us. If one of them were happen to have gotten destroyed, it will be replaced within an hour."
Do any of the ones that are on patrol possess an appearance similar to this one?
Vaguely. But nothing concrete. She points her staff at the orb in their chest and goes, "That is new."
This feature is what makes this unit what it is. He doesn't know where this item came from, or
It did not come from here. We have never seen something like that before.
neither has essentially any other entities that this unit has queried.
Then you must probably need to query more entities. Nom, nom, chocolate, nom, nom. It's all gooey. I like soft chocolate. It's amazing.
That's not what I heard at first, but I knew what you were talking about.
Envoy will just sort of glance to the other members of the party.
No, this is interesting. Keep going.
Actually, I like the debate of math explaining life in the chat room right now. I've been
Right?
I've been reading
I'm
it.
mystified by that right now.
1 + 1 = fuck your god.
No, not that. I'm more mystified with the
I
math
know, everything
describes
below it.
life and doesn't explain it. Blah blah blah.
1 + 1 is 11 people. Get it right.
Life
Oh,
is
yeah.
squishy. Math is hard facts.
Envoy then poses actually a different question on a different topic. One thing that this unit is uncertain about, as after having seen different scales of cultures and civilizations rise and fall, both those that are human, dragonborn, and otherwise, this unit is curious as to what would happen, what will happen when more of you exist. Obviously, there will need to be some sort of hierarchy in order to maintain order and stability.
There's no order to be ruled over.
So you are a leader, but not of a higher caste than those around you.
No. My life does not change because I lead these people.
That is not what this unit was proposing, though. There is some hierarchy in the system.
Vaguely, yes. If there is if there is a mild dispute or a what's the word I'm looking for?
If there was a
Disagreement?
No.
Envoy will interject. If there was a circumstance in which someone within your settlement, if multiple people within your settlement were at risk, and not all of them could be saved, what methodology or heuristic would you apply in order to determine who to save and who to allow to perish?
The ones that would ensure the survivability of our race.
So
That's
those
a very simple question to ask. Or a very simple question to answer.
So things like genetic or heretical connections.
We are all genetically
Potential
the
age.
same.
So in this context, if an able adult and a young vulnerable child were both at risk and both could not be saved, the child would be the one that's left to die, because at that current state, that child would not aid in the survival of the culture or race.
If that was the situation, yes. But that kind of a scenario has never come to pass. And as our race grows, I believe it shall never come to pass.
Given the small amount of deaths that have occurred, it is indeed very much likely that such a question has not entered your minds.
14 deaths to be exact.
What were the cause of those deaths?
Avalanche, animal attacks, farming accidents, drownings. And she continues to list other environmental deaths.
Sounds about right for a farming community.
What methodologies do you have you been using in order to keep track of these events in order to ensure that they don't happen again? Simply word of mouth, or is there some other method that you are using to ensure that those of the future are able to learn from the mistakes of the past?
Hunting accidents, we have increased hunting parties. Fishing accidents, we've increased fishing parties. For avalanches, we have decided to do more research into the land that we develop on. And goes on and explains pretty much the explanation for every last one of them.
Yeah.
Until you stop her.
Envoy doesn't.
I get it.
But basically, they every last one of them seems like a valid response to everything that would happen.
Right.
That because they're evolving socially,
Right.
and architecturally, and you know, like engineering and shit like that.
Right. They're all their
They learn from everything that goes wrong.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because they have the time to.
Well, they also have no interference, so that's how they have to learn. They're not being taught anything. They have to learn it by doing.
That's true.
And out of all that, they've only had 14 losses.
right.
And there's plenty of cultures that have had to do some stuff similar to that. Blah, blah, blah. Spend way too much time watching TV.
Someone is.
What is
Oh,
this
yeah.
thing called TV?
It's called the Science Channel box.
The
You meant-
Science Channel.
You
We
made
have
reference.
science, but we do not have a box to tell us science.
You made reference to this unit having gained knowledge from text. Does your culture have
Yes.
written works?
Yes, we have libraries.
By box, do you mean book?
What?
I mean, books kind of look like boxes.
You know. Kinda.
I don't think that was canon.
No, it wasn't.
Malik somehow dies.
Just keels over falls. Dead.
I wanted to play too.
This is all way above Eric's level.
Basically, she takes on a tour showing farmlands, hunting trails. Eventually, you guys see a school and a library that you guys go past. You guys don't go inside, but you're able to see inside.
We can't
windows.
read.
We don't know how to read. We just punch things.
Huh, half its Twilight books. Huh.
So good.
I'm sorry, I just looked at
I'm
the.
quite actually
the chat.
surprised that you haven't queried of how we understand you and speak your language.
I've learned to accept these things by now.
This unit is capable in speaking in many languages, but presumed that your capability to speak was either granted to you or taught to you by Tevish or through some other influence. The possibility
Or
of
we were stabbed in the neck earlier, and now we can understand anything.
Whoa.
We tend to. Hold
Finish your chocolate.
on. Got it.
Oh,
Oh, hey, two little pieces hiding in the corner.
oh
Sweet.
no, that's
Piece of candy. Ooh,
Piece of candy. It's kind of like when you get that gum and it kind of sticks in the that box gum, that the small little triangle ones, the Trident, whatever they're fucking called, and you get two in the corners, and you're just like, oh, I thought it was out. But
I want chocolate.
Where were we? What were we doing?
We were talking
well,
Oh,
about
languages and shit like that.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
we were, from what we have been told, we are based off of a lot of your genetic code. And she says that while looking at Olivia. And, yep, just Olivia.
Yep, just Olivia.
Malik's gone. Or not Malik.
Hallam.
Hallam went away.
But he's
Malik's
Yep.
just dead.
Not
He's
really
off.
there.
I could just imagine in my head the guy he's with and how he's just going wee, and the
Doesn't
guy
he
just
also
going
have
like,
blonde hair?
He's like, "Don't you have questions for me?" Blowing glass. Wee.
So
This is so much
So-
better than
so-
asking
so-
you questions.
so the genetic makeup of your kind is based to a
Off
certain
of
degree
the
off
humans.
of the humans of our realm.
Correct.
That doesn't necessarily explain the language transmission unless language is somehow
are-
able.
Because of our genetic similarities, we seem to be evolving on the same pathway.
they've also been jump started a bit.
Slightly.
Indeed. Though languages do have the capability to evolve and change, as this unit has been able to detect by comparing differences between existent languages.
Dialect, who you've been around, etc., etc.
Then the origin of knowledge for language would have to come from some sort, perhaps. The coincidence is that the chances of you possessing the same language that
And
we
I
are
would
able
have
to
to
speak.
chalk up our predisposition to the common language would have to be genetics. That somehow we were written to end up with this language. And maybe you were too.
This unit is an entity that can be programmed in order to speak certain languages.
You notice she's not
as an
looking at
operation.
you.
Oh, she's talking to Olivia.
She's still looking at Olivia. Whenever she speaks about humans, she always looks to
right.
Olivia.
I just figured that since I was the last person to speak, she was responding to me with that sort of way.
Yeah, well, she's responding to you, but looking to Olivia.
That doesn't necessarily follow logically. Language is a social construct, not a genetic construct.
I barely know my own language.
I mean, like this is what
Math
Envoy.
isn't life. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, look at Varric. Varric can't even speak his own language, and he.
Nope, I can speak like 6 words and they're all dirty.
Actually, Envoy will use as an example. Was going to use as like, for example, this one here, as he points to Varric, is genetically the same as other Dragonborn. Yet he does not possess the knowledge to speak in a wide breadth in his own language. This
Was-
unit,
I said
however,
6 words and they're all
This-
naughty.
Was he
you-
created by God?
that's why this unit proposes that your language kip faculties are those of direct influence from your deity.
But he was.
I think we've gone over
raised by-
this already.
I would say he was raised by not his own kind, therefore he can't speak it.
Yeah, but
I was
see,
raised
like-
for a few years by my own kind.
Alex, that validates Envoy's point further, though, because the argument is that language is not genetic. Because
They're saying their language is genetic.
right,
Their
She's
language is
proposing-
genetic to Olivia's
Right.
language.
She's proposing that you do not know if that you were born to end up with this language or not.
hmm
They were born to know this language. That makes sense. Okay.
If Olivia was, she's basically trying to pose a question that is it, do you really think it was God that created your language and allowed you to speak it and learn it, or did you find it out on your own as a culture?
You seem
I learned to speak common
Basically,
by
a question you
doing.
can't answer.
Mm-hmm.
You seem to be proposing
Well,
there's a lack of free will.
well,
22 my history check. Do I know the history of our language?
Actually, no,
boy.
because it's linked to Tavish, not Ardent. So that wouldn't be a topic of discussion in the Church of Ardent.
this again, this Envoy's argument essentially will stay the same.
Malik, what were you gonna say?
You seem to be implying a lack of free will. Almost as if everything is predetermined.
Some things may be predetermined. We do not quite exactly know this. But our lives are our own. If one of us wants to be a farmer, we become a farmer. If one of us wants to be a hunter, they're a hunter. There is nobody outside of this island that tells us what we can or cannot do. If we do not have free will, how do we create forms of art and the architecture that we have?
By means of deterministic reactions within the mind as a result of circumstance, environmental influences, social influences, and other desires that may occur.
I wish Olivia, like, out of character, could just high five Envoy right now.
Why?
It's just every question he has a response to.
Dan. Wait.
Yes, we don't talk about the murderings.
We don't talk about that guy. Who
I was
wanted
actually
to-
getting ready to ask that. Like, what if somebody wants to just leave the
Kill
group,
people.
not be a part of the group?
We've
Yeah,
never
it's
encountered
sociopath.
something quite like that.
The
You are doubting the free will that we have.
free will perhaps is an inappropriate term to use, though. For example, this unit has programming or some other sort of axiomatic logic by which it operates. Those axioms propose some sort of influence over action. However, this unit can try to act against those influences and programming in some form. However, is this a form of free will, or is it merely recognizing a degree of determinism and having a degree of control over the determinism?
Then what's the difference between her and myself? Can we say that she has no free will because of this also? That she was determined to be a... And she kind of looks her over and says a worshipper of someone, a leader of people.
That, once again, this question appears to be malformed. A similar way to phrase it is...
You are asking what I am asking. Our questions, in fact, are the same. We do not know the answers to.
Oh my god, my head hurts.
This unit
I'm
disagrees.
really glad he's glass blowing right now.
Tara's
would
really
all
glad
be over
that
his
she's
head.
depressed
This unit's
Al's brain
not
would
this
hurt
unit
so bad.
This unit is not proposing the question as to whether or not free
Just
will
be-
exists.
Just because we are isolated does not make us any different than the humans over there.
If you never die, then it does make you a bit different.
You're quiet.
Genetically, we are different, yes. But socially,
Are you?
how we change, our wants and needs, desires, we are the same. We just do not want for war. We usually do want goodwill towards everybody here.
And yet a war is fought on your behalf.
Not
More
our
import-
behalf.
More importantly, if you truly do have free will, then you should expect that to come in time.
A war? No.
Yes.
I like having free will. I don't want
If
to
you
take it away from me.
if you are disposed so that you would never have the influence or want to have war, then could it be argued that you don't have free will with regards to that topic? But again, this unit does not feel that the term free will or determinism are appropriate descriptors of what's happening.
Now, before we go further, I'd like to remind everyone we were warned not to interfere with Hevish's plans. And I think we're really getting dangerously close to that line. I influence his people.
Whaley's
Just
got
saying.
a good point.
Too bad your glass blowing.
Yeah, exactly. Over here, just blowing glass. I'm gonna come back, and the whole party's gonna be dead like shit. What they do.
Somehow, how
And you're
is
gonna
the
be like-
only way
you're
to
gonna be
walk
like-
away from this one?
Hallam's gonna be like, you know what? I can live here. Just blow
can do
glass all day.
But nobody dies, so you have no one to bury.
No, people
It
die.
is
It
his
just
hell.
takes
You
a
guys
while.
die. Then he
Yeah,
buries you.
got you guys. I'll just take it slow.
I'll bury you one body part at a time.
This
Your
this
Halofen
unit
is quite
this unit has
creepy.
existed for a short period of time, and however, due to its particular situation, it has been given a lot of time to ponder over things that are of more concern to those around it, especially since since organics have to worry about things like death, finality, and other matters that this unit does not have a direct influence over. As a result, this
The
unit
problem with with your pondering is you're asking questions that cannot possibly be answered.
well, why not?
You will never find an answer for them.
To presume that there is no ability to find an answer is to stop inquiry. To stop inquiry
The
is to
closest thing
stop.
to an answer you shall find is to speak to God Himself.
This unit has found insufficient answers in its interactions thus far.
Maybe because He's trying not to influence. To an extent.
Well, yeah.
Allowing you to make up your own mind.
Access to knowledge does not change the ability for one to choose. What you're proposing is that it's better for one to choose an ignorance.
Is he
than to
always
choose
this big of a
knowledge.
pain in the ass? I've never felt anger until now.
Oh crap, we're influencing the guys. Cheese it!
Oh god, Tempest is gonna kill us. Run!
And Tavish wants to somehow mix this with whatever remains. Jeez, these guys are gonna get pissed off so fast. Oh.
My god. Well, some of us.
These questions are not meant to undermine your way of life or thinking. They are efforts for this unit to come to a better understanding about itself and the nature of reality that surrounds it.
We have no effect on you. We do not know your origins or anything about you. Thus, anything you can learn here will never affect you and who you are.
That is incorrect.
You will never encounter us again. Thus, anything you learn from us should not affect your programming to deal with the humans.
This unit is responsible for its own programming at this phase. Therefore, any knowledge it obtains can influence and develop its programming further.
Correct, which
Therefore-
would be useless for the human race. We are not technically human. We are, but we are not.
And this unit is technically not Delhi.
Nobody is making said assumption.
This unit finds itself in a similarly situated position with regards to that.
You are what you make yourself.
Indeed. The knowledge influences one's ability to just make decisions about oneself.
Learning of the humans does not make you human. You gotta see where she's going.
Yeah.
I understand, but it's not getting what Envoy's point is. Envoy's point is not a desire to be human. It is simply to come to better ideas about what it should be doing by analyzing and comparing the influences.
What she is saying is that learning about humans isn't going to affect that. She's basically saying you have your own free will to do as you choose.
Right, but that's what Envoy is saying is that by gathering more information, it can modify what type of decisions it would make with the added information.
Yeah, and she's 100% against that.
Right, but
She understands what you're saying, but she's saying it's stupid. That you should want to be what you want, not what you think fits the situation you are in.
that's not quite Envoy's point. But again, we can move on.
I don't see what the hell I'm missing, but okay. But she continues the small tour.
Probably more annoyed than before.
No, actually, you don't see her deposition change at all. Disposition.
Curses.
This is who we are. This is who we will be. I believe in what our God tells us. And I believe that the people of your plane would be better with us.
I disagree with that sentiment heavily.
What fault do you find in us?
I find a fault in being killed.
None of us are killed.
We are.
No. You must speak more with Tevish.
Tevish's plans thus far have involved massive
Guys, do you really want to go down this road right now?
Oh.
Do you really want to go through
Let me
this?
put it this
Remember
way.
my warning.
Perhaps what we should do.
Stay here
Olivia is
and you will
going
be
to-
happy.
Olivia will look at everyone else and say, perhaps what we should do then is talk to Tevish.
Perhaps. We will take
you've-
you on your advice to speak with him some more.
He can give his point more reason than I could ever.
Yes.
We do not wish harm to your people. My people do not wish harm to your people.
I feel that sentiment to be genuine.
And I'm happy for that.
We want our people to live together and become one. To give
Unfortunate-
your people the benefits of our people.
Again, I feel your sentiment to be genuine.
Our sentiment is our God's sentiment.
That is not genuine.
Passive insights, you believe she's telling the truth.
Yeah,
Yeah, I believe her.
Envoy,
I'm
envoy,
seeing zealot is
Yeah,
what I'm
well,
hearing.
envoy
Yes.
will envoy will simply reiterate.
She's Tom Cruising.
Mayor, it's like this unit then offers a what would be an appropriate term for this? A wish that your lives and stability here is as beneficial as as appears to be currently.
We shall be ever changing, and we shall always live on. And with that, she starts leading you back towards the airship.
Well, we can find our way back. You don't need to walk us all the way.
She will not go onto the
Need to
dirt
pick
road.
me up.
That's where she would stop.
Okay.
What about Hallam?
We do need our
pick up
crazy
time.
companion back, though.
He could probably live there and be
Well,
happy.
I want to test something. I want to try to do a sending ritual to Hallam.
Your sending ritual works.
Okay. Hallam,
Yes.
we're leaving.
Oh. All right.
Hallam, roll checks.
Right.
Glass
What are the
blowing.
checks I have to roll?
Fuck if I remember.
It's the
Thievery, probably.
endurance-
No.
There was the endurance in it, a dexterity, and like acrobatics. I think was in there.
It was
rig-
something wacky.
There was one random one. Athletics, I think maybe.
Yeah, roll those three.
All right.
Yeah.
Athletics.
You make a penis.
It was like 18 checks.
No, it was three for each one.
Yeah, it was 3. I remember that. So that's athletics, endurance. Well, hey, this is where all my good rolls are going to go.
And then you
To be
botch
fair,
the
we're probably
last
not
one.
making that many more rolls.
Then a worm shows up. All you need to do is get above
Yeah,
a 2 Hallam.
Dexterity.
What you're trying to make comes out perfect.
Awesome.
What are you trying to make?
It's a glass shard statue ardent.
Here you go.
Go,
Just
go
hand it
with
to
that.
one of them.
Here, have you heard the word ardent?
Oh god, and then I would be the one to die. Do that. I'm thinking.
God,
This is my best friend, Ardent. He likes you too.
I'm just
He's a pretty
actually-
cool bro.
So Hallam, what did you create?
Pretty
no, I'd probably
butterfly.
actually statue thing of the village and donate it.
Okay, so like a one of the prominent buildings.
Yeah,
in
and then
glass.
give them.
Okay. He bows
Sign
and
friendship.
shows you the way to the dirt road.
Yay.
we
A
now
glass
all
statue
walk-
of the pretty horse lady. The whatever. She nods to you and gives us a slight bow after, as you guys head towards the airship that's still docked there.
What is Olivia's passive perception?
22,
Okay.
I believe.
I'm going to say this is aside to Olivia. If you've been paying any attention to Envoy after the conversation, you will notice that as the little blinking of colors occur, there's a different color in the sort of array of lights that are happening on him.
I haven't seen that color before, Envoy.
This unit has been doing some thinking for a while.
Is this something we should be talking about when we could be heard?
We can talk about this at a later time, however.
By the way, wasn't that the creepiest goddamn thing ever?
There
If you are quite worried about being heard, perhaps you shouldn't insult Tevish's creations.
I'm not saying the creations are that creepy. I'm just saying this experience is pretty fucking creepy.
I thought you were taking notes.
I am, and it's pretty much how fucking creepy this whole thing is.
Envoy
It's like a giant
Hanging from a
creepy.
tree.
Envoy looks over. It's like your notes appear to be a depiction of you on the ground with your hands on your head, screaming out in agony. Was that intended?
Wait, hold on. In the corner, there's a little duck with a superhero cape on it. Yeah, that's
Don't you dare make fun of Super Duck.
Why
I
are
imagine
you?
there's
It is
like
my
a
happy
giant-
place.
There's a giant circle in the middle of the circle says creepy, and there's just branches of other things with words like horse lady, Tevish.
Why on this
Blonde
page
hair.
are you giving the Mohawk guy a blowjob?
I was really bored.
There was a really long stretch in there where I had no idea what was happening, and I kind of blacked out, and then that was there when I came to.
I guess
But
we
it's
are.
extremely detailed.
I,
guess
bla-
we'll-
I blackout draw really well.
I guess we'll be back on the ship in just a moment. Then with Devin.
Yeah, well, the ship's not that far off from the main road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just those few little asides, and yes, Vargas was just like, yeah, this is creepy. I don't like seeing. They looked way too similar. Diversity.
I do have a question from the art that I saw, because I
Sure.
assume glass blowing, they've got at least some of their structures on
Mhm.
getting worked on. What did it look like?
There's a lot of abstract work.
Okay.
You saw blueprints for new constructions on your throughout that building. Some people making stained glass.
All right.
I would think
Actually,
it-
you learned a little bit on stained glass. You know how to color glass now.
Yay.
And how to basically increase the integrity of the stuff you make with glass blowing.
Awesome.
He's leveling up.
Hallam is happy.
Yep.
Da-na-na-na. So
You
how
gotta
did
give
you
him
have
something
fun?
before I kill him, you know.
Yeah.
I would find it funny if Hallam's art somehow negatively influences this community now.
No, because it's very good.
Oh, damn.
Hal can make glass rainbows.
Yes, technically he can.
So Hal, did you have fun?
It was a little weird, but yeah.
You found them very personable. Yeah, they
They're nice.
were open for conversation. Nobody, like every question you would ask them, you got a very warm response to.
I'm imagining the question like, do you guys have puppies?
You guys felt really indulged during this.
Mm-hmm.
I just walk. I feel good. Feel happy.
Envoy will say one thing to Olivia, and it will basically he'll say this unit apologizes for a rather high volume of inquiries that it posed, but is making the assumption that this is the one and only time that we'll be exposed to these people. So I wish to know as much as possible about them.
It seems very likely that's the case, though I'm not upset with you for asking questions. I understand that's your nature. Perhaps it's better for you to see that and have an additional experience from which to dwell upon.
Indeed.
You guys board the ship.
Well, here we go.
Slight hull, and the ship lifts off the air, or lifts off the ground, and starts its travel back to where you guys came from. Tavish is standing there and looks to the group and says, "Did your questions get answers?"
They indeed got answered.
This is only partly the end goal. They are near perfection, but not quite perfection.
You aren't planning on, like, stomping them out and replacing them, are you?
Negative. I believe
good.
that in time they will perfect themselves.
The perfection you're talking about is not one of raw genetics, but one of social interaction,
Cultural
intellectual,
differences.
cultural developments.
Correct.
This is why you must allow them to develop these things on their own terms, because such things could not be simply directly taught into them.
Correct. Some things can be placed inside of them, but not everything. Once they reach that perfection, I shall allow them to spread.
I'm curious, what is a cultural perfection?
For right now, I cannot say exactly that a want for war and death is completely bred out, or culturally bred out. It is one of those things only time shall tell. Though no actions of hostility have ever been recorded on that island.
This unit possibly suspects that there would have to be a test of sorts of that sort of influence.
In due
And-
time. At this moment, I can't quite introduce that thing. Their numbers are too small.
They would need to fight over land or religion or something along those lines.
Religion will never be a war that was ever fought.
I'm just using what I know.
This
You're-
unit would
where you are from, there are many religions. Here, there is only one.
I know, I was just speaking of past knowledge of what causes conflict.
This I'm not sure if Envoy would have been able to infer what was the cause of the Dragonborn culture downfall that he saw on timeline.
No, you don't know it, but you can ask it and find out.
Well, yeah, it's like, well, the question: would this be a case of creating an external threat to the community, or creating an internal conflict that the community needs to resolve itself?
I shall not create any conflict. They shall create their own if one is inevitable.
So
But
you're
once they become large enough, there will be not sort an external as in one I shall introduce, but one that shall be introduced because of their want and need for expansion.
Some people want to live by the coast, some people won't.
so
Happens.
and would this conflict be of this plane?
No, this would have to take place on Ardent, because that is the only place where conflict can happen. Where another race is located. The Velrai are still here, but they are so scattered. They do not influence the island. Malik, this is news to you.
That's why you have protectors.
Correct. Malik, you thought every Velrai was dead here. That the only ones left are the ones on the ship.
I find it strange you haven't seeked them out.
Why? They can't do anything to us. We fight the wars they bring to us. They have yet to learn that if they would just go off on their own, they would be left alone.
And the majority of them did leave you alone. And yet, you
Which
sought
left
us out.
alone. Which, as I've already told you, we went to the north. We were pursued to the north. We defended ourselves.
And then they left. After you won.
Yes, they escaped the plane. The only ones that were left are the rebel camps that are still here now. I shall not actually use the word rebel.
Surviving.
That seems to fit it more.
Why
Go ahead.
are you leave them alone?
Yes.
Why do
I
you,
fight the wars they bring to me.
Why do you bring ones to us? We have no interest in this plane.
What? Say that again, Tyler?
Why are you bringing a fight to us? We have no interest in this plane.
Yes, you have no interest in this plane. But you do not know the truth of everything that has gone on yours. That plane is my home, my creation. Let me correct myself. That is not my home. It is my creation.
Why do the Delhi want this?
The Delhi are not.
The Delhi don't want your plane.
Delhi are merely a vehicle by which Tepish is able to.
They're my soldiers.
In order for the Delhi to achieve this particular goal, they have their methodologies, namely the way that Rai is influencing Ardent at the moment. One question this unit has: its earliest memory involves the city of, was it Trent or Trend?
Trend.
Trend. The city of Trend being destroyed by.
The mountain,
Or-
yes.
Why did Trend have to be destroyed?
Its close proximity to the mountain made it inevitable. Nothing I can avoid.
Would it have been possible to have.
Negative. The sheer mass of the mountain moving is inevitable to create the earthquake and destruction of that city.
That is not what this unit was going to ask. Wouldn't it have been possible, on your standpoint, to have informed and influenced the occupants of the city to evacuate before the mountain moved in order to.
And inform an enemy of my plan.
That calls for death.
Because that's what I would end up doing. So far, my movements on your plane are untraced. The elements of surprise is the largest. What's the word? Largest.
Asset?
Yeah, largest asset that we have.
It
Yes,
appears.
we do have numbers, but we can only move them as fast as currently, as fast as the portals would allow. But now that we have the planar shift happening, this should be quite easy.
Indeed. Which would mean that at this phase, all you would need to worry about is directly fighting those that either are directly working for or directly oppose you.
Correct. And because we are at this stage, the invasion is going to be quite different. And he looks towards the rest of the guys, not Envoy, because he recognizes Envoy's newer versus everybody else. As you guys, or as you may have known, the first wave of the invasion had no determining factors of who lives or who dies. The second force of the invasion will change this.
Hmm.
So your plan is to minimize unintended casualties as much as possible.
Correct. I need a stable population to create off of. I need something to introduce to what what I have been working on here. If I kill you off, my plan will not succeed. Perfection will not be fully grasped. I could create more of you, but that is time I'd rather not spend on.
Jeez.
Let me ask you something. And he looks towards Olivia. Why do you follow your god?
I've deemed him someone worthy of my respect. Someone who I devote my ideals to. Someone I aspire to be like.
You want to promote his teachings.
I follow his ideals and spread his influences through my actions.
And knowing I created your god means nothing.
It means very little.
Your god wants suffering. Your god wants to see your friends die. Your god believes in every last one of you has a destiny to be played.
Yes.
That's, to me, not godly.
If what you're trying to do is then propose that you are a better alternative, I fail to see it when I've seen so many people die to the Delhi.
That's because I was cut short in my endeavors. Things would be much different if I was not excommunicated from my plane. There may be war now. Give it a few years, and there won't ever be one again.
That is not an ideal I choose to follow. I seek a better way.
Then you will suffer like the god you follow will.
We shall see.
Alright, interlude.
Interlude?
Everybody take a break.
There's so many times I wanted to jump in. I'm like, that'll get me killed. That'll get me killed. That'll get me killed.
Why do you think I'm not talking? Like
I-
everything I say is gonna get me killed.
I
Yep.
had something I was gonna say in that
I
last
didn't
exchange
follow
that
it.
I avoided saying, but I could pose it either out of character or at a later time.
Like, there was a line very specifically I was going to say at the end there, but I'm like, that would be the worst thing I could possibly say. Just in my head, I'm like, suffering brings character. I'm like, well, there goes me being tortured.
I thought of.
Hey, Mittens.
I'm reminded of the cheetah. Basically, is all I'm gonna say.
Mm-hmm. Gotta go fast.
No. That's not what I'm talking about.
I was.
Here's basically the point. The cheetah are genetically inbred. because almost every single cheetah has the exact same genetics, which means that as a species, they are already dead in the water.
They don't die though, so technically no, they're not.
No. But that's not what I'm saying. As a species, the cheetah are already dead in the water.
Oh, yes, they are. I'm
because
talking about
yeah,
Tempest people.
that's the whole point of what I was saying. It is a perfect it's perfect armor as far as they know, but you find that one dent in that one piece of the armor, and everyone's dead.
At that point, though, you're fighting against creationalists versus
Sure.
evolutionists,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
which you can't do here.
You're also
Especially
forgetting the fact
because
that
here
there's a physical
we are-
god here who can change their shit.
Yeah, we have an established god who we know created these things, who we know can influence their
Anything.
everything
It's-
about them.
Yeah.
So technically, anything that could ever be known is thrown out the window because every factor can be changed. So as far as you guys know, yeah, they could eventually become immortal as far as dying of old age and sickness and
Well, they
illness.
could already be.
Yep, they just don't know it yet because time's not past. The experiment hasn't been going on long enough to figure it out.
Yeah, because technically 500 years is not enough for a species to figure out stuff. Not enough time. Seems like forever, but it's not enough time.
No.
I know.
I'm saying that more for me, not for any of you.
Yeah, I knew you were here a while ago.
Yeah, but you're in the middle of being talky.
Yep. I mean, I pay attention to my chat, but I don't. I'm not reading it as much this week.
All my snark that's usually in the game is going into the chat instead.
Yup. What the hell kind of shoes am I looking at?
Ugly ones.
Yes, but I mean, they don't even look like shoes.
So back to the wacky adventures.
Of who?
Yours.
They're not wacky. They're depressing.
They've been pretty
right
wacky so far.
now. Yeah, it's
No, the only sad part is I don't have a whole lot for Tara.
I have no idea what to do now either. I pretty much have just told my people that my party is dead.
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot for Tara.
That's fine. Pretty much have no idea what I'm doing at the moment either.
I spent most of my time planning what the fuck I'm doing with you guys instead of what I'm fucking doing with Tara.
Yeah, so wacky adventures are not going to be so wacky. They're pretty much going to be me on the ship saying, I'm all alone.
How about we do this? The ship's like, no, that's fucking stupid.
Times like, you are dumb.
You are dumb.
Beep boop bop.
Please enter a request that is not stupid.
That is not stupid.
Shut
Because I
it
can't
down.
go to Freeport because I'm dead.
I do not recognize stupidity as a valid form of conversation.
Beep boop bop.
But yeah, I can't go to Slade because I'll be dead.
You
Technically, you
could
don't
give
know.
Cypher your new information that you have.
That's true. I could do that. I'll probably end up doing that after I stop being depressed. Because I'm depressed.
That. And emo.
My whole party is dead.
The old Lincoln Park.
My whole party is dead. I was friends with some of you.
Some of you. Fuck all of the rest of you. But some of you were okay.
Some of you weren't cocks.
Some of you didn't run away for no reason.
I'm watching really high speed footage of cheetahs running. So
Since you mentioned cheetahs, you're like, I need to look at cheetahs.
Cheetahs, man.
Cheetah gear.
Yes, I believe Olivia's still racist against Envoy. I mean, come on.
come on.
Yeah, man.
Also, no, I'm not going to go look for Hobo Jim. Despite what you all think, no.
Hobo Jim's living with Devin in Redfield right now.
Besides, Hobo Jim is actually a level.
Fucking sitcom already going.
He's already a level 27 hybrid sorcerer. What?
Thing.
You could move in next door and be the new roommate.
Nah, he's a wizard rogue.
New girl spin-off? Question mark.
It's like Better Call Saul. Is that little spin off from?
Oh my god, who thought that was a good idea?
I don't know. We'll see.
For those in there, let me drop it again. An idea I've been thinking about.
Hobo Jim is God? No.
If
no.
if you guys would want to take part in it, if not, just let me know. But it's something I've been thinking about, and I just want to see if there's support behind it, enough support behind it to do it or not. Take that, Zero Awakening. And I don't know why he says that. Who the hell are you, my evil twin? I don't know why it says that. Now, I think I have like a 10 character limit for some reason that I put on it.
Let me put that table back. Yes, it is true. I'm only the one who can start flipping the tables.
Can I take place in this poll?
Yeah.
I also noticed
Yeah,
you
viewers,
had a all caps moment there that didn't get deleted too.
Yeah, I
Who,
increased
though?
my caps limit to 30.
Ah.
So that won't be happening too often. But yeah, people who are part of the calls can... Yeah, you're also part of it if you want to.
I need to figure out a way to have it work with our gimped version of Java. That's my problem.
But yeah. It's something I've been really thinking about doing, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna have... Because the only way I'm gonna do it is if there's enough people to warrant doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't even touched Minecraft in so long.
I would love to.
I would jump in, but as I said, that's the only thing I have issues with. Was I put it on recently, and with the Java that we have to use for this, it would not work.
Oh, we'd probably.
Mine's fine.
You have a supercomputer, Andy. That's not fair.
Like I had to get a different video card just to get it to work.
Wow.
I'm thinking about doing like some kind of like just like a Minecraft Monday thing where it's just like some let's builds and some
We
kind
can
of
go on wacky adventures.
yeah, that community project, shit like that, something fun. Get a lot of I want if it happens, I want to get a lot of people involved with it.
I'm totally on board.
Do mass scale building or games. Like I want to make a Hunger Games map like I've seen a lot of people do.
Mm-hmm.
And shit like
I
that.
built one of those.
So, I mean, there's a lot of ideas I want to do with it, but this is one of those things I'm not going to put effort into it unless I know I got, a lot of people who want to do it also. So that's why, I put the vote out there. I want to see if there's enough people to do it.
It got me.
I don't know how much I'd do it in total. I've kind of burned myself out on that game in total.
See, I haven't. So,
When it first hit the 360, we were doing like 8-hour, 3-time-a-week streams.
Wow. See, when it came to 360, I tried to play it more often, but no one would play it with me. So I actually haven't had the huge burnout that everyone else has had.
It comes in waves for me, but it's one of those things like the server I'm going to have will be up 24/7. You don't need me to be in it to play it.
Oh, sweet.
So you guys will be able to connect to it whenever you want and shit like that. I'm going to whitelist it, though.
Yeah.
So anybody who wants to be a part of it is going to have to tell me their name. So I can put it on the whitelist so they can get in, so I'm not getting fucking trolls and shit like that in there.
It says right there in the link that it's for PC.
Yeah, this is for the PC version.
Yeah, so then it's more than just 8 people. Because I'd be dumb.
It's what, 24?
25, I thought. You can probably adjust it. I mean,
Minecraft on the 360 is not that gimped. The only way it's really gimped now is population size.
Because you can get hundreds on the PC version.
You can,
Yeah,
but
you
it's
can.
usually
you
the
check
problem
the
is the servers get really hit the more and more you have in there because it's gonna have to keep larger and larger maps.
Yeah, I'll toss it out one last time. But yeah, something. If I get the numbers for it, I'm gonna do it. Probably within a couple of weeks. I just need to set it all up to do it.
I just shrug at that comment when it comes to the 360 Minecraft. Whatever. Mods are neat. There's only been 1 or 2 mods I've seen that are interesting.
Volt, I like.
Tech. Whatever. I think what's it called? It's Tech Kit.
Tech. It's amazing.
Yes,
That-
that's about it.
Where
but
it's like engineering, magic, and something
That's-
else. That's amazing.
I think pretty much 4J said that's coming to 360.
I really love that one. I'm debating on making that one the server.
Yeah.
Servering that one. I love Tekkit. The fucking quarry mining is awesome.
Mhm.
Because I always do the engineering side. I never do the magic side.
As someone who knows a fair amount of redstone, yeah, I love doing that.
Yeah, I like
Pretty much-
Tekkit. It's one of those things I'm debating on if it's going to be classic or if it's going to be a mod type. I think once I get enough ideas and there's enough people to do it, I might put it up on another poll to show if I should do classic or modding. And then go from there and, see what most people say and go from that and make a server for it.
That was the best part of the 360 version, though. Is that it started very vanilla, then it built up where it is now. So it was really easy to learn it.
Mhm.
That's what I felt was really nice. The only thing though that I have a problem though is since I played mostly 360, I do not know how to craft on the PC. I have to relearn.
Oh, that's the one thing I
That's why I
hate
have a
about
wiki up.
360.
Yeah,
I do
well,
too.
That wiki is amazing.
It's the same problem I have with Binding of Isaac. Is I need to have a wiki up to play the damn game.
Yep.
Is this item gonna fuck me over? No. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
I do enough wiki gaming as it is. I don't need to add more to my life.
I mean, to be fair, I would say that in some ways, I was more annoyed about that with regards to Dark Souls than I was with Binding of Isaac. I'm more annoyed by Binding of Isaac with the with some of the RNG hate that happens, and also with a few cases where certain item combinations just completely mess you up in ways that you just could not anticipate.
You got tick. You can't beat the game now.
Or another one is like you got I forgot getting some item and then getting
Ninetales.
like the third eye, like getting the third eye, and it completely jacks up your fire rate to a point where you can't actually fire.
Yeah. Look for that in about maybe 2 weeks if there's enough people behind it. Right now we got 7. I'd like to have between 10 and 15 to start off with. I think.
As I said, I'd be one to pop in here and there, not fully committed because I don't know how much I can do.
No,
it.
it's fine. I just said the poll's open for you guys if you want
Yeah.
to participate in it. You don't have to. It's just one of those.
Yeah, I was just,
I would be in there as well, but I don't have that much time to commit to it.
All right. Everybody here?
Yeah.
not really mentally, but sure.
The ship slowly returns back to the what do I want to call it? It's not
Area
quite a
place.
castle. It's not quite a fortress. It returns back to the residence.
Okay.
Okay.
From which he looks over the party and says, "If you have your questions, ask them now. For after this meeting, you will never get another answer."